Welcome to the product rule lesson. The product rule, as the name suggests, is when you have to find the derivative of a function given a product. So f of x times g of x would be a product. And to find a derivative, you would have to use the product rule. So the product rule is f prime of x times g of x, and then it's adding to the original function of f of x, multiplied by g prime of x. So let's start by being given an example. Number 1, f of x is equal to x to the fourth plus 8x squared minus x multiplied by 5x plus 2. So easy strategy with these types of problems is to just set these functions apart. So f of x, let's just say f of x is x to the fourth plus 8x squared minus x. And let's find the derivative of this function. So the product rule is essentially a multi-step process, and you have to find the derivative of each function. It's not necessarily a different way of doing things. It's the same things that you've been doing, but inside of a product. So 4x to the third, so this is basically the power rule. So 16x minus 1. And then on the right side, we have g of x is equal to 5x plus 2. G prime of x would be equal to 5. So now, given that we know the product rule is f prime of x times g of x, adding f of x times g prime of x, we can now plug in these values pretty easily. So f prime of x is equal to 4x to the third plus 16x minus 1 multiplying by g of x, adding to the fact. So f of x is x to the fourth plus 8x squared minus x. G prime of x is 5. So now all we have to do is sort of clean everything up. So 20x to the fourth plus 80x to the second, and then minus 5x plus 8x to the third plus 32x minus 2 plus 5x to the fourth plus 40x to the second minus 5x. So let's try to utilize different shapes to match different terms. So I see x to the fourth, and those are both of my x to the fourths. So f prime of x, let me just write this notation down as well. 25x to the fourth. So now x to the third, I only see one x to the third. Whoops, I'm not certain if it's going to be positive or negative for the x squared. So it's going to be 40x squared and 80x squared, so that's going to be 120. And then we have x's, so minus 5 and minus 5, so that's, and then we have 32. So that's going to be 22x. And then lastly but not least, we have a minus 2. So that will be minus 2. So that would be f prime. Let's try a different example. F of x is equal to 6x squared plus sine x cosine x. So let's try this problem. So the product rule is only this part. It's not the whole thing. So 6x to 6x squared is its own separate thing. So you could already say that using the power rule is 12x on that side. But sine x, cosine x, you have to use the product rule. So f of x, let's just say f of x is sine x. And then we say we say g of x is equal to cosine x. So g prime of x is equal to negative sine x. Derivative of cosine is negative sine. And then the derivative of sine is equal to cosine. So now let's plug it into f prime of x times g of x plus f of x times g of x. So, sorry, g prime of x. So, and then we can plug these values in. So cosine x, and then g of x is already cosine x plus f of x, which is sine x times g prime of x, I guess sine x. So it seems like you're wasting time by rewriting these functions, but it makes going back and forth easier. So I think it's still around the same time solving. So cosine squared x minus sine squared x. And then you can add in, so f prime of x is equal to 12x plus cosine squared x minus negative sine squared x. And last but not least, let's find the product rule, or let's see, we have a product. And so e to the x is special because let's say f of x is equal to e to the x. F prime of x is also e to the x. And then g of x is equal to 8 minus root x. So let's rewrite it. G of x is equal to 8 minus x to the 1/2. So now if we use the power rule, 8, so a derivative of any constant is 0. So negative 1/2 x to negative 1/2 minus 1 from the exponent. And so we have to put it back. So it's actually negative 1 over 2 root x. And so now we can go back into the product rule. So f prime of x, g of x, g of x, plus f of x, g prime of x. And so plugging in all these different values. So it doesn't matter for e to the x because it's always going to be the same. So e to the x times g of x. And g of x was our original function, so 8 minus root x, add e to the x times g prime of x, so that's negative 1 over 2 root x. And so now we can just clean it up. F prime of x is equal to e to the x 8 minus root x minus e to the x over 2 root x. Maybe let me clean that up a little bit. Okay. So yeah, that is the product rule. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one.